Welcome to panel 6. This is the final panel of the Macedonia Global Investment Summit. It's my pleasure to introduce Mitre Kutanovski.
Thank you, Adriana. Dobar den na site. Ručeko dobar беше. Се надовте добро. Слушайте, јас сум од село Радожда. Другата година ќе се бора овој состанок да биде во селото Радожда. Што велите? It is with great pleasure to be here. I'm one of the older members of Macedonia 2025, number 3 guy. It's amazing how things have evolved over the years. It is definitely a positive trend, and what's happened in the last couple of days here is definitely a great future for our country, Republic of Macedonia. I was born, as I said, just across the lake, Selo Radojda. I learned how to swim there at the age of 3. It was a typical Macedonian way of learning. My grandfather was supposed to watch me. He got tired of watching me. Finally, he threw me in the water and said, "You're going to swim," which is really similar to how some of us go in business. We're thrown into something and we learn how to swim real quick. This is a great country, and one of the things that every time I come here, I pick up on the little stuff. Just a half hour ago, I went to the washroom, and this is the only country where a female can walk in a men's washroom and not miss a beat. She's going on, cleaner, doing her job. It just doesn't happen in America, only in Macedonia. So with that, I really enjoy being here, and also I want you to give yourself an applause for being here, because you made a commitment, a financial commitment, and I hope that after the last 2 days, you walk away with at least 3 things. And those 3 things are about taking the things that you've learned that you feel are the most important, and as Mike said in the beginning of our session, make sure you execute on those 3 things. So give yourself an applause for that. I have the honor of introducing a great panel here. We're going to start off with our keynote speaker, Professor Antonio Petrov. He currently lives in San Antonio, Texas, one of the greatest cities in Texas. His experience is intensive. As I said, he serves on many programs, including as a director for research at the Archworks in Chicago, co-founder and current editor-in-chief of New Geographies, Harvard University Journal, the founder and editor-in-chief of Doma, a bilingual magazine published in Macedonia, and a director of WAS, I don't know what that stands for, a think tank located in Chicago with research and emphasis on urbanism, regionalism, and architecture. He received his doctorate degree in history and theory of architecture, urbanism, and cultural studies from Harvard University. He also has been a recipient of numerous awards and fellowships. Among others, he has been a Fulbright and Aga Khan Fellow and won international prizes and competition in architecture, planning, and design. Dr. Petrov taught at Harvard University, Wentworth Institute of Technology, Northeastern University, Iowa State University, the School of Art Institute of Chicago, and the Illinois Institute of Technology. It is with great pleasure we welcome Dr. Antonio Petrov.
Thank you so much. This is a wonderful honor for me to be here today. I had a great time the last 1.5 days. I learned a lot. I'm not a business mayor. I am an architect, an urbanist, and interested in regional studies. So this is all new to me, what you were talking about in the last 1.5 days. However, I think what I want to talk about today is relevant to the things you discussed, and there were overlaps, and the term education and research came up quite a few times. So basically, I don't know if you can see my slides. I would like to talk a little bit about research and development made in Macedonia. And I think the summit and the assemblage of these extraordinary people here in this room is a very great occasion to think about how to fuse international knowledge and business with local culture to provide new opportunities in Macedonia. But before, I would like to talk about, you know, more how the Texans would say, like the meat of the subject. I would like to say a little bit something about my background. So I am a Macedonian, even though I don't really speak well Macedonian. My parents live in Demirkapia. I am a proud Macedonian, and in the last 4 years, I've tried to explore that side of me. I grew up in Germany and lived all over the world, in France and Spain and Turkey, and now for the last 10 years in the United States. And I always felt something was missing, and I didn't really know what it was. And so in the last 4 years, I started to explore this a little bit more, and I came out with a publication that was called Doma, and I tried to help myself, but also Macedonians to understand what it really means, what home means, and what identity means, and it helped me a lot to, you know, learn from that. And it's an ongoing process. This summer, I had the opportunity to be here for 3 months, and I think I found my soul in Macedonia. I'm very happy to be back, and I'm very happy also to be talking about this subject. I discussed these things with Zoran over the summer and Biljana. Thank you. I met Zoran and Biljana in their office, and we brainstormed about different ideas they had and I had, and things I worked over the past 4 years, and we found a lot of things we had in common. And so we kept talking and talking, and things developed, and so now here I am. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the ideas we developed over the summer. So based on what we heard here today, it is more than obvious that for economic growth, we also need a well-educated workforce. And in order to attract more businesses, obviously, those two things are in hand. Let me kind of use the slide. So, but to sustain more investments and business development and innovation, we not only need to emphasize on improving our education or the educational system as a whole, but also support research and development following the global trend of knowledge-based economies. I think that's a very crucial point, and I haven't heard that much this weekend. So I want to emphasize on that with this proposal I'm making today, that you know, the focus is on developing a knowledge-based economy. To accomplish these goals and transition into a knowledge-driven economy, I am advocating today an interdisciplinary research initiative that can comply with international standards, but I think what is very, very important, that it can also maintain a Macedonian edge. You know, we can follow any country in the United States or the Western societies, but I think it's important that we maintain who we are. I think we are great, and our edge is something very special, and I would like to focus on that, that we, you know, comply with the standards all over the world, but we should also focus on to maintaining what it means to be Macedonian and do things in a Macedonian way. With this goal in mind, I would like to take it a step further and position Macedonia in a different context. This slide you're seeing here is from the documents you gave all of us. Yes, somebody at front designed it. And it kind of emphasizes on the Western countries, the EU basically, and basically also where the funds are. But I would like to argue that if we change a little bit our perspective or open our eyes to another perspective, we will maybe gain some new insights. So my argument is that Macedonia geographically is the exact center of the north, the south, the east, and the west. And if we look at it that way, we are all of a sudden in the center of a much larger perspective. And in the last 20 years, Macedonia and the larger Mediterranean region have contributed to an extremely dynamic field of inquiry that initiated new discussions about history, politics, and culture, to the effect that it also affects, obviously, economy and business. In different research studies with students in Macedonia, I've worked a lot with students in Macedonia. I'm going to say a little bit more in a minute about that. And at Harvard University, we have investigated different scenarios that position our country as the alternative, not only in terms of alternative business models, but also alternative tourism, energy, spatial development, agriculture. But also, we've been thinking about it, we came across that more and more, that I think our country has the potential to also be the alternative in education, research, and development. And my proposition is, I would like to, and maybe it's a little bold to say that, but I would like to inspire everyone in the room to help develop Macedonia into a research hub right in the heart of the Mediterranean. I think we can do it. I think we have the potential to do it, and definitely everyone that's sitting here has the potential to help us to make it happen. So that is my proposition. I understand that this is not the most humble request I'm making here today, but I believe it is a great time and a great opportunity for Macedonia to recast itself nationally, but also internationally, and establish itself as an alternative research center in the world of knowledge-driven economies. With this initiative, I am proposing, or I'm imagining, it's part of a larger international network, or it should be part of a larger national network. And I also imagine it to be part of the strategic plans we have in place in Macedonia. I talked to a lot of people this weekend, and a lot has happened in the last years, which I'm very, very happy about. And so there is, the idea is kind of in tune with the innovation strategy of the Republic of Macedonia, the National Strategy for Sustainable Development, and then Macedonia 2025's larger strategic plan. This proposal aims to play a leading role in transitioning Macedonia into a research and innovation-based economy, and but we also have some obstacles to overcome. And my background as an architect, or I think with Zoran I had a very nice conversation, and he called it like I'm managing space. So that makes me a little bit of a business person. If we look at the space as an object of knowledge, then I think currently we have to look at Macedonia in a way that more than 50% of the people only have elementary education or lower. 23% have a high school education, 24% a university degree, and 3% with a master's and a doctoral degree. On the higher end, it looks promising. I think it looks fairly in tune with what we have in other countries. But on the lower end, I think that's a big problem we have to overcome. However, and I don't want to be like a downer, but also 69% of the people unemployed currently are in the age between 25 and 49. That's a little bit discouraging. And candidates that leave school with a university degree have trouble finding jobs. I mean, today, and especially the last panel, was very, very encouraging and very, I was very enthusiastic about it, because I really feel there's so much happening, and there are these pockets within our society where, you know, there's all this development happening. But, you know, this is also a good moment to look at things that are not so good. but also see that there's lots of opportunities within those rather discouraging numbers. The term brain drain, we heard that from a student from the University of Geneva. You know, she mentioned that, and she was concerned about this, as we all are. I know that the government is taking measures to engage with this problem. However, in the last 10 years, and I don't have an exact number, but there are probably a couple of thousand people with a university degree, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 that left the country to, you know, either improve their qualification, study somewhere else, or to find jobs in Europe or in the United States. What's also interesting is, to that effect, most people that teach in universities in Macedonia have a PhD degree from a foreign university. So, you know, what signals are we sending to the students? So you have to leave the country to get a good education, and then you come back and you get a job. So I'm not sure if that's the right thing we should do. So. It is obvious that brain drain is one of the three major problems why Macedonia cannot maintain its sustainability. And I'm quoting this from the National Strategy from Sustainable Development. In the research I've done with Macedonian students, we have engaged with, this is the work of one of my students, we've engaged with Macedonia as a region within the region. So we looked at it more carefully and we tried to understand what it is, how it functions. It's currently, even though there are plans to make it a more polycentric country, it's still very monocentric. Everything is happening around Skopje, and the rest of the country more or less, how to say that politely, is in trouble a little bit. So what I'm trying to say is, like, so I think with all that potential in the country, there are things we are underutilizing, and one of them is agriculture, which everyone would think, well, that's, you know, our strength, or it should be. But the studies we've done show that only 30% of the land we could use is used at this point. There's reasons why, but I also think, like, if we would force research in that sector, we could find our own solutions, and we would not have to have, with all respect, Dutch companies coming to our country and show us how it's done. So I don't want to, you know, try to scare investors away. You know, this is an event where we want to invite them, but I also want to encourage Macedonian research, and also want to encourage Macedonian research and development. So this is another one with energy, which was striking to me, that, you know, so much we import energy to a degree that, to me, I just, you know, from the perspective of an urban planner, I just can't understand that. However, I found this photo. A friend of mine sent this to me a couple of years ago, and this is Macedonian. This is made in Macedonia. I could have shown you many, many more examples, but I think, like, this is representative, and I'm really serious about this. We can take it, you know, with a smirk, but I think this represents the Macedonian ingenuity. I really think, like, the spirit of, you know, inventing things and using what we have and making it into something that's useful, you know, that you can, you know, go out and make your life on the field much, much easier. So, but the problem is, most people that have these spirits, and I'm not talking about people in Skopje with amazing degrees, I'm talking about people in the regions, they don't have a degree. They cannot say, well, I invented, I don't know, a motorcycle, scooter, whatever that is, and to kind of put it in a paragraph and, you know, maybe patent their work, you know. I think we have to think about this, and we have to think about it in a bigger picture, in the way we educate our students or in the way we conduct research and development in this country. So to build a new research-driven base in the country and to establish a culture of critical inquiry, collaboration, and disciplinarity, I think that's another key point of my presentation. I want to emphasize on collaboration and interdisciplinarity. We have to think broader. If we want to receive the large grants from Europe in research, then we have to, you know, work together with all sorts of disciplines in order to make it happen. I think purely disciplinary grants you cannot get, or applications you cannot get big grant money. So to move forward, I'm a little bit more concrete with my proposal. I'm sure maybe it was rather theoretical until now, but I believe we need an advancement of applied research that can recognize the needs of local businesses and investment to help stimulate a local business culture with an international outlook. We also need to research the role of Macedonia within local, regional, and global contexts to better position our country. And this leads to a better understanding of the country and its resources to be able to address problems more focused, but also to develop regional solutions, regional educational institutions, knowledge and know-how that is kind of really made in Macedonia. This will inspire, I believe, how much do I know about business, but I believe it will inspire investment opportunities for companies that want to invest in Macedonian know-how and stimulate more research and innovation. Therefore, I think we need to set up interdisciplinary collaborations and partnership to broaden the range and increase the intensity of discourses. And I really believe this is a very, very amazing step, actually, to have a discourse about what's going on through all these different lenses we heard, through finance and business and innovation, and to just stimulate and inspire the country. I think, like, from this room here, I think there's going to be a huge wave going out into the country, and I think it's going to inspire a lot of people to follow, you know, these people here, what they're doing in their lives. I also think we need to promote to collaborate with other institutions. I think this is my experience. I tried to reach out to universities in the country a couple of years ago. And it's very, well, this is my work, and, you know, they want to collaborate with you because you're from Harvard or something like that, but not really on the subject, and there's all these complications. So I really think, like, we need to kind of promote, like, this kind of attitude that we all need to work together to make this a better place. This needs to be an incentive for possible integration within academic institutions at this point, and foster and increase the interface between faculty research that's already existing. So we need to incorporate the faculty and their research and existing academic programs. So involvement of faculty and their research is important. Supporting advanced student work is important. Connecting with the diaspora to build a stronger global network and develop very, very strategic relationships. I think we need to emphasize on that. But also, we need to develop knowledge-based networks and a body of data on Macedonia that can be shared publicly to increase economic developments. Because I think data right now seems to be also isolated. We are very much disconnected from global research networks. And to find any information on Macedonia currently is nearly impossible. I think it's getting better. I have the sense that there's more information out there, but by the time I wrote this, I didn't know. So I also think we should have more scholarship programs. I heard, Dimitra, that you talked about that Macedonia 2025 has these scholarships programs, but I think we should focus on to have them within the country. I'm not going to bother you more with details. The idea I have could be small little research units led by Macedonia 25. And so just to sum it up, I believe in the commitment of Macedonia 2025, and everyone coming together today, we have made a great step to precisely identify the problems and develop an understanding of the challenges in order to reflect, analyze, innovate, and speculate made in Macedonia style. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor. Next on the panel is the ambassador to Sweden and Finland, my good friend, Kiri Ilioski. Mike recognized Kiro yesterday twice, and I'm going to recognize him again. He brought 11 individuals here, potential investors, and the only gift I'll give him is I'll let him stay in my house one night. So Kire, welcome, and thank you.
Thank you, Mitra. Dear friends, it's an honor and great pleasure to be part of this first Global Investment Summit Macedonia 2025, which aims to integrate the diaspora and the Macedonian economy by promoting the Macedonian industry, trade and investment. I hope the group of the Swedish businessmen that is also part of the summit had the opportunity to establish the direct contact with the top managers and the business professionals from all around the world, the government officials, as well as the Macedonian business leaders. The activities for promoting Macedonia as an attractive business destination are joint commitment of the Macedonian governmental officials, the Macedonian business sector, and of course, the Macedonian diaspora worldwide. I am a taco of some, yes, Macedonian flights, yes. My diplomatic experience as a career ambassador earlier in the Balkan region and the Central Europe, Western Europe, and now in the Northern Europe, Sweden and Finland, shows that the regional cooperation and networking among the various regions and the exchange of experience and the knowledge in many areas can extensively contribute to achieving substantial economic results globally. I am very happy to say for a fact that the countries in which I have been accredited like ambassador are countries that have established friendly bilateral relations with my country, Macedonia. Countries that provide continuous support of our process of integration, countries that have huge potential and the leaders of many areas, but also countries where many Macedonians live and work. And of course, countries that Republic of Macedonia can learn and implement a lot of from as well. In this specific context, I would like to point out as a particularly successful model from Sweden. This is the Cosmopolitan project in Sweden, which is focusing on the successful inclusion of the Swedish businessmen of foreign origin in the activities aimed to promoting foreign trade and increasing investment. I believe it's a high importance to establish a sustainable vision for integrating the diaspora in the modern economic trends and the current in Macedonia. The creation of the multinational companies is a long-term process based primarily upon vision, focus of the development and the leadership. The fact that most of the Macedonian companies have developed a strategy to grow on the international markets. At the same time, the many successful managers that hold the leading position in the international companies are with Macedonian origin. Their networking, the strengthening of their cooperation, and the implementation of the joint projects in the field of investment, trade, research, and innovation represent to the backbone of Macedonian economy that we aspire to have. Another challenge is to identification of the potential project that could be implemented by diaspora in Macedonia. In this context, allow me to welcome the initiative of Macedonia 2025 and the successful accomplishment in the first Global Investment Summit, covering the multiplied topics in the fields of the global economic and political perspective, the investment climate in Macedonia, possible investment in the export projects, financing models, and I would like to place a special accent on the importance of the competitiveness of Macedonian products and services on the global market as a basic for the involvement of the diaspora in the process of the promotion, foreign trade, and increasing export of Macedonian products and services of the foreign markets. There are numerous successful businessmen which already met today, these days, during the summit. Scientists, researchers, professors, and the business professional in the diaspora who have the capacity to and the knowledge to help in concluding the partnership with the foreign institution to further the research and development in Macedonia, to present Macedonia as an attractive business destination in the different parts of the world when they coming. It is important and necessary that everyone, meaning the Macedonian government official, the Macedonian business sector, and Macedonian diaspora engage in building of Macedonia into internationally visible brand on the global map. Of course, this process is a long one and will take time and patience. But we should know that the activities that we start today will contribute towards strengthening the Macedonian economy, create jobs, improve economic growth, and recognition of the country on an international level. This year's summit is a summit of great possibilities, but also one of high expectations. I hope that together we'll be able to build bridges between the business sector in Macedonia and the diaspora. Bridges based on the opportunities and potential offered by Macedonia, but also bridges that are expected to persist, to grow, and to contribute to creating a successful story. However, when we talk about integration of the diaspora and establishing business relation with the foreign companies, we should bear in mind that we mean not only to connect with the foreign companies owned by the Macedonian diaspora, but also to connect with the multinational companies. World leaders in their field where successfully professionals with Macedonian origin hold high positions. From this perspective, connecting Swedish businessmen, businessmen from Macedonia, diaspora in Sweden, and businessmen from the Republic of Macedonia is a modern, functional model that I apply as a part of activities aimed at establishment in intensifying the economic cooperation between Macedonia, Kingdom of Sweden, and Republic of Finland. I would like to high point and share my personal experience like ambassador to Sweden and Finland of promoting Macedonia, which was accepted and supported by those two well-developed Scandinavian countries as a successful model. Namely, from my first day in the past 2 years, I have established an already very visible proactive approach and established multiple working visits in almost all regions in Sweden and Finland, which is a challenge, given we are talking about the regions which in the countries, Sweden is the third largest country in European Union, Finland is the fifth largest country in the EU. Having meetings with all relevant responsible people, governors, parliamentarian, mayors of the municipalities, and of course the top representative of the top Swedish and Finnish business sector. And I'm very pleased by the fact that as a result of the working visit, I met many successful Macedonians who hold high position in many multinational Swedish, Finnish companies who the embassy and the country didn't have any information, and with how we immediately start initiative for cooperation and joint project in several areas. Most of the successful Macedonian are highly integrated into Swedish society, and companies such as Saab, Volvo, IKEA, Atlas Copco, Ericsson, ABB, and many others, as well as many of our other successful businessmen. Some of them are present here in the summit, in the conference, and had worked 4 years in the same areas of business in the different regions of Stockholm and in Helsingborg, and they were competitors to each other without any knowing that they originate from Macedonia. Because of having changed maybe the last names or not speaking the Macedonian language, no any contacts with the embassies or the Macedonian representative, and no any contacts with the Macedonian clubs and community. And I haven't had meeting in their places of residence of living, visited their companies. I would never had introduced them, and they would never begin to thinking about how to help their parent country, Macedonia. Sweden, it's not only Stockholm. Finland is not only Helsinki. Sweden is many small cities and Finland is many small cities, countryside towns, far from handsome diplomatic life. And if ambassadors and their teams are not proactive, and it's not visible in all regions in the countries where they accreditate, and where it's not possible, they will never, never established a strong ties between Macedonian diaspora, the host country and the Republic of Macedonia, and they will never initiating and intensify the business visits and investment. My message is to encourage all my colleagues to visiting all regions when they accredited like ambassadors. Our embassies around the world, our heart and home, for better or worse. Our citizens are connected with them, and therefore, together with the governmental institution and diplomatic and the consular mission, as well as the Macedonian abroad, wherever they are in the world, we need to further strengthening the links to restore the old data in the embassies about the number of our people abroad, and make sure that our administration at all times has the actual data with update information for any and all purpose, including business opportunity. Finally, I encourage all of us together, the representative of government, institution, embassy, Macedonian diaspora, as an important segment of the great mosaic that is Macedonia, to unite and make the Republic of Macedonia represented and visible on all continents as a well-respected and successful country in terms of politics, business, in terms of tourism, as an attractive destination that will be proud of and will be pride of our children's, grandchildren's, and great-grandchildren's. Thank you.
Thank you, Kire. Next, we have Mr. Vasil Naumov. He's the Director of Immigration Agency for the Republic of Macedonia. Vasil, you have a mic right there. Thank you.
Почитувани дами и господа од Организацијата Македонија 2025, почитувани учесници на оваа конференција, почитувани гости, најнапред би сакал да го изразам моето задоволство и благодарност до организаторот за поканата да има можност да ви се обратам на овој панел, да им честитам за изворедно организираната конференција во организација на организацијата Македонија 2025, основана од македонски иселеници, бизнисмени во Северна Америка. И би сакал овде сега по повод темата која имаме денеска да кажам нешто за напорите кои што Агенцијата за иселеништво на Република Македонија ги прави во идентификувањето на успешните македонски бизнисмени, професионалци, научници, истражувачи и слично, и во напорите кои Агенцијата за иселеништво на Република Македонија ги прави за вклучувањето на истите во јавниот и економскиот живот на Република Македонија. Најнапред, сосема кратко за Агенцијата за иселеништво на Република Македонија. Агенцијата за иселеништво на Република Македонија е државен орган, самостоен орган на државната управа, значи не е во состав на ниедно министерство, туку одговара директно за својата работа пред владата на Република Македонија. И надлежностите на Агенцијата за иселеништво се пропишани со устав и со закон. Надлежностите на Агенцијата за иселеништво се прилично широко дефинирани во законската регулатива и поаѓаат од општо дефинираното грижа за правата и обврските на иселениците од Македонија, преку информирањето на иселениците од Македонија за состојбите во Република Македонија, унапредувањето на врските на Република Македонија со иселениците и иселеничките организации и вклучувањето на иселениците во јавниот економскиот живот на Република Македонија и секако реинтеграцијата на иселениците во Република Македонија. Со оглед на вака широката поставеност, значи денеска ќе збориме само за еден дел од надлежностите на агенцијата и напорите кои ги прави во таа сфера, имајќи предвид дека владата на господинот Груевски е посебно бизнис ориентирана, агенцијата доби посебни задолженија во оваа сфера да се грижи, да им помага на сите иселеници од Македонија кои се заинтересирани да инвестираат во Република Македонија, да им дава стручно-техничка помош и да им помогне на сите иселеници од Македонија кои сакаат да извезуваат производи од Република Македонија и добивме обврска тоа да го правиме преку системска мрежа. Со оглед на тоа дека Агенцијата за иселеништво на Република Македонија нема подречни единици, ние развивме системска мрежа на тој начин што со локалните власти договоривме координатори кои ќе бидат надлежни и од страна на локалните власти и од страна на Агенцијата за иселеништво во координирањето на активностите, во прифаќање на евентуалните иселеници, бизнисмени кои би биле заинтересирани да инвестираат во Република Македонија или пак да извезуваат производи од Република Македонија и продолжуваме да работиме на тој начин што се ги координираме заеднички активностите и им даваме насоки на иселениците кои ќе се обратат кај нас за тоа како најлесно да се вклучат во со инвестиции во Република Македонија или пак со извоз на производи од Република Македонија. Секако, заради помагање на иселениците во оваа сфера, бевме принудени на некој начин да тргнеме во идентификување на овие македонски иселеници во сите сфери, а посебно во бизнис сферата. За таа цел, уште во 2007 година, создадовме за прв пат бизнис адресар во кој ги сместивме, значи, сите иселеници од Македонија кои во светот имаат своји бизниси или пак иселеници од Македонија кои менаџираат туги бизниси, значи професионалци во сферата на економијата. Овој бизнис адресар од тогаш наваму постојано го надополнуваме, ажурираме. При формирањето на бизнис адресарот и постојано и понатаму и подоцна се обративме до иселеничките организации за помош, секако и до самите бизнисмени кои што ги внесовме во адресарот, го испративме адресарот до сите иселенички организации, до сите бизнисмени и иселеници кои се во тој адресар, до организациите од областа на иселенички организации од областа на бизнисот, како што е Македонија 2025, со повик да ни помогнат да го подобриме тој, да внесеме што е можно повеќе податоци за иселеници бизнисмени. Еве тој апел го упатувам и сега, посебно до Македонија 2025. Тој адресар беше на располагање ставен на Организацијата Македонија 2025 и во организирањето на оваа конференција и затоа се наоѓаме на листата на поддржувачи на оваа конференција. Се надевам дека беше од корист тој адресар. Ние тој адресар исто така го доставуваме на сите државни органи со цел да ги направиме достапни податоците кои се во него и за останатите државни органи, се со цел да можеме да ја поврземе македонската бизнис заедница на секаде во светот, да можат да комуницираат едни со други, да разменуваат искуство и се поврзуваат во сферата на бизнисот. Паралелно со овој бизнис адресар, ние настојувавме да ги идентификуваме и останатите успешни македонци во останати сфери, професионалци, бидејќи темата е за идентификување на успешните научници, истражувачи и слично. Ние создадовме и таква база на податоци на научници, база на податоци за уметници по потекло од Македонија, база на податоци за успешни политичари, спортисти, професионалци во секакви категории и сите тие податоци до кои што доаѓаме нормално на легален начин, кои се објавени, јавно публикувани, ги превзедовме и се наоѓаат во базата на податоци на Агенцијата за иселеништво Република Македонија, која е јавно објавена на нашата, имаме повеќе интернет страници, на нашата интернет страница и која што понатаму база на податоци може да биде користена од сите заинтересирани субјекти. Со цел да им помогнеме на иселениците кои се заинтересирани да инвестираат во сферата на бизнисот, ние направивме и посебна интернет страница која е по угледот на акцијата која ја води владата Invest in Macedonia. Ја крстивме Инвестирај во Македонија, имајќи предвид дека нашата целна група се иселениците од Македонија и затоа и на македонски ја крстивме и претежно нашите информации се обидуваме да ги дистрибуираме на македонски јазик, иако морам да кажам дека имаме превод и на англиски јазик, но имајќи предвид дека една од основните цели на агенцијата е чување, негување на македонскиот идентитет. Токму затоа и настојуваме информациите да ги испраќаме на македонски јазик, доколку се обратат иселеници со потреба од превод, испраќаме и превод. Значи, нова интернет страница од областа на економијата, имаме бројни информации, почнувајќи од, како што кажав, профилите на како што кажав, бизнисмените, понатаму имаме информации за законските прописи од областа на економијата, даночни прописи и слично, можности и начини за инвестирање на иселениците во Република Македонија, со тоа што како додатна активност обезбедивме информативни материјали за можностите и начините за инвестирање во одделни стопански гранки. Например, за чевларската индустрија изработивме материјал во дигитална форма, кој што материјал го направивме достапен до иселениците на тој начин што го испративме до сите оние адреси на бизнисмени кои ги имаме во нашиот бизнис адресар, а исто така објавени се и на нашата интернет страница во делот од економијата. Значи, за едно 15-тина гранки стопански изработивме наши материјали, каде што може да се најдат детални податоци за бизнисите во тие сфери, за контактите и слично основни податоци. Изработивме исти такви материјали и за одделни позначајни општини, каде што сметаме дека може да биде насочен интересот на иселениците за инвестирање и, како што кажав, ги дистрибуиравме до иселениците и ги истакнавме и на нашата интернет страница. Со цел да овозможиме што полесно започнување на бизнис од страна на иселениците, исто така направивме во дигитална форма, така наречен водич за инвеститори, каде што во многу јасни, концизен начин е објаснето конкретните стапки, чекори кои треба да ги направи секој што сака да заснува, да започне свој бизнис од нула или пак да купи веќе постоечки бизнис или да купи бизнис од стечај, од банкрот и слично. И овие материјали исто така се доставувани до иселениците и се наоѓаат и исто така на нашата интернет страница. Понатаму, со годините, како што поминува, покрај што ги ажурираме сите овие податоци, продолживме да ги збогатуваме податоците за македонските иселеници бизнисмени, на тој начин што изготвивме по-детални профили на бизнисите во собственост на македонските иселеници во средините каде што тие живеат. Така, например, ние се изненади господинот Пејков и имаме податоци за него, за неговиот бизнис, што е сосема нормално. Имаме податоци за господинот Кутановски, за господинот Зафировски и за неговите активности и тие се барем оној дел кој што е јавно достапен, се јавно достапни и за сите иселеници. Ние ги испраќаме тие материјали до сите бизнисмени кои ги имаме во евиденција. Со цел да помогнеме да се идентификуваат не само бизнисите во собственост на македонци во средините кај што живеат македонските иселеници, туку со цел да се идентификуваат и инвестициите на македонските иселеници овде во Република Македонија, независно дали станува збор за само инвестиции или пак за повратници иселеници, ние водиме и таква евиденција и таков бизнис адресар имаме и тој го ставивме на располагање на Македонија 2025, како впрочем и на сите заинтересирани. Исто така, понатаму во овој дел изработивме детални профили на голем дел од тие бизниси, не би можел да кажам колкав е, бидејќи и ние немаме дефинитивна бројка, исто како што немаме, не верувам дека и некој има дефинитивна бројка и на бизниси во собственост на македонци по светот, но на оние бизниси за кои што можевме да добиеме податоци, изработивме материјали во дигитална форма и тие материјали се исто така достапни на нашата интернет страница. Сите овие материјали за кои зборувам, слободно секој заинтересиран може да се обрати до Агенцијата за иселеништво, преку нашата интернет страница ќе пристапите на нашата интернет страница immigration.gov.mk или пак info@minicel.gov.mk. Ќе се обратите и ќе ви ги дистрибуираме сите овие материјали. Сузана, ако сакаш, покажи ги само дел од материјалите. Сузана е чешмаджиска, е одговорна во Агенцијата за иселеништво за реинтеграција на иселениците и дел од материјалите во дигитална форма, во ограничен број ги имаме и овде. Значи, сите овие материјали се достапни. Кога зборев, значи, за деталните профили на македонските на бизнисите во собственост на македонски иселеници овде во Република Македонија, сметам дека е посебно значајно да продолжиме и ќе продолжиме со тие активности заради презентирање на ваквите се едно успешни истории или пак истории каде што има и проблеми, не е важно, но заради запознавање на македонската јавност со тоа дека македонските иселеници се навистина активни во македонската економија, присутни со своји инвестиции, затоа што има впечаток, а мислам дека и вие ќе се согласите со тоа, дека малку се подценето е присуството на македонските иселеници и нивните инвестиции во економијата на Република Македонија, иако ви кажал дека не се за подценување, што не значи дека не може да бидат во поголем обем. Се надевам дека нашите идни активности, кои ќе ги превземеме во оваа сфера, ќе допринесат за поголема афирмација на постојните инвестиции. Планираме во наредниот период да формираме едно координативно тело, составено од представници на бизнисите во собственост на македонци овде во Република Македонија, на кое тело би можеле да разговараме за проблемите со кои се соочуваат, да им помагаме во разрешувањето и во комуникацијата со другите државни органи, се со цел да им дадеме поттик на таквите бизниси, а и преку нивното презентирање, преку презентирањето на ваквите успешни истории, да бидеме во можност да привлечеме и инвестиции од други македонски иселеници. Исто така морам да ги споменам, значи, овде и бизнис форумот кој го организиравме за таа цел во 2008 година во соработка со Министерство за економија, а каде што учество зедоа и Агенцијата за странски инвестиции и секако Министерството за локална самоуправа и посебно локалните власти, каде што на еден ваков форум со присуство на голем број на македонски бизнисмени и селеници им беа презентирани на 5-6 одделни панели можностите за инвестирање во одделни стопански гранки, во индустрија, во енергетика, во не знам кој, преку презентации од страна на представници на државните органи и преку презентации направени од страна на локалните власти. Во 2011 година, исто така, во оваа година, 2012, во рамките на годишната конференција која што Агенцијата за иселеништво ја одржува, секоја година одржавме мини бизнис форум на кој што поканивме македонски иселеници кои инвестирале во Република Македонија. Ми се чини поголемиот дел од нив беа веќе и повратници, да ги презентираат своите искуства за нивните инвестиции овде, за нивните бизниси. Јас се надевам дека ќе видам некој овде, поготово на овој панел денес, но се надевам во некоја друга прилика ќе поканите повеќе мине од нив со цел да ги кажат, пренесат своите искуства. Исто така би истакнал овде дека ние сме во непосредна комуникација со иселениците, било преку посети на нивните бизниси овде во Република Македонија или пак во средините кај што живеат по светот, и секако со контакти таму кај што се нивните бизниси, непосредно во бизнисите или пак во просториите на агенцијата. Комуникација исто така одржуваме постојано телефонски, електронска пошта, но и преку рубриката прашања на нашата интернет страница, преку рубриката прашања на интернет страницата на владата услуги.gov.mk. И само уште малку во однос на, како кажав, водиме евиденции на научници, професионалци, уметници. Оваа база на податоци сега стана посебно актуелна, бидејќи согласно резолуцијата за миграционите политики на Република Македонија, донесена во 2009 година, Министерство за надворешни работи има обврска да презема активности во оваа смисла. Агенцијата е еден од учесниците во тие активности. Тука се вклучени во овие активности, паралелно повеќе активности течат Економскиот институт од Скопје во состав на Универзитетот Свети Кирил и Методий, кој врз основа на базата на податоци на Агенцијата за иселеништво се уште работи, но веќе презентираше дел од студијата која работи за успешните македонски научници и истражувачи кои работат по светот, во соработка со Меѓународната организација за миграции оваа година, а и следната, Агенцијата, Министерство за труд, Министерство за надворешни работи на ангажирање на одредено време на македонски професионалци во разни области овде во Република Македонија, значи на месец, 2-3, со цел да пренесат искуство од средините кај што живеат овде во Република Македонија и со цел евентуално да бидат заинтересирани за потрајно враќање во Република Македонија. Јас не би должил повеќе, ми се чини времето истече. Благодарам за вниманието.
Благодарам. Hvala, Vasil. Next we have the USAID Mission Director, Mr. Robert Wirtz. He's informed me that he has about $750,000 he doesn't know what to do with. So any volunteers out there, just talk to Robert after the session. So Robert, welcome.
Thank you very much for such a terrible introduction. But it really is an honor to be appear on this distinguished panel and to be able to address such a group of important high-level officials and business people. I've been told to keep down to 10 minutes, so I will try and do that by speaking quickly and getting to the point right away. I'm an economist, and therefore I like to start off with numbers, so we have a numbers base. We find that there are about 200 million people throughout the world who live outside their home countries. They send back to less developed countries about $325 billion a year. The amount of foreign direct investment going into countries abroad is, in fact, right about that area, even a little bit larger. And Macedonia fits exactly the same pattern. It has about 500,000 people living outside its borders, and recently it sent back over $400 million in order to Macedonia in terms of remittances. In some cases it was investment, in some cases it was to pay school bills or to help out with other costs. We also see that recently the foreign direct investment has been running over $400 million. Another very substantial sum for a country that is, relatively small. The one thing that is not large is, in fact, USAID. We have less than $10 million in our most recent year. And if you compare that money with the amount of money that's available from diasporas and foreign direct investment, you realize that we are not going to be a major source of funding for investments here. Our role has been, since we started here in 1993, to make it easier for business to invest here, and to make the procedures simpler, to help the government get the laws in conjunction with the neighboring countries, to move toward EU accession, and take care of all the necessary reducing of impediments that would prevent business investment from taking off in this country. And if you look at where the numbers are, you see that between the government and us and the other donors, Macedonia has done a very good job at starting to ramp up the inflows from these other areas. So what we can do is just provide sort of this catalytic effect in which we try and help out in terms of our programs. I've mentioned a few already. I'd be remiss if I did not mention that we also worked in democracy and governance because, as some other panelists yesterday said, the rule of law is extremely important for a good business environment. It's also important to have good elections so that you have people are able to express their voice on the direction of policy. It's important to have a vibrant civil society because civil society can provide an important feedback mechanism to the government as to what's going right and whether or not they're actually receiving the kinds of services and benefits that are desired. So we have focused on the top level effects in terms of taking care of regulations. We've also worked on firm level effects in order to regularize some of the issues that a smaller business might run into. And there are actually, I thought I'd mention 4 initiatives that we currently have which are actually helpful to people who are trying to start a business in the United States, here in Macedonia, either start or grow. And of course, these facilities are available to either Macedonians who live here or to people in the diaspora who want to come back and start something here within Macedonia. First, I want to mention 2 microfinance institutions that we've helped start, FOM and Možnosti. These are provided by very small loans that were too small to be profitable for commercial banks. And we continue to support these with a partial credit guarantee to expand services to small and agricultural enterprises. Now, I want to mention here that it's not that we offer subsidized interest rates. It's not that that the borrower is actually going to be able to see very much. What we're trying to do is we're trying to incentivize the lender to take care of some of their costs so that they can go out and they feel freer to go ahead and lend to the people who are in this group. I'm going to stay around for a few minutes after the end of this seminar, and I have handouts for these 2 and also for the other facilities that I've talked about that I'll be happy to pass out, so that if you're interested in and willing to try and avail yourselves of these facilities, you'll know who to contact. We have a similar loan guarantee program with Unibank and NLB Leasing, aimed at providing access to working and investment capital for the small and medium enterprises who want to expand their operations or to enter new markets. And we also have developed an establishment with the Crimson Development Foundation, which provides short-term purchase ordering for small and medium enterprises, farmers, and entrepreneurs. We've created a small fund with Crimson devoted exclusively to business innovations. And now we get to the $750,000. On the equity side, we've established an equity and quasi-equity investment fund with SEED, the Center for Entrepreneurship and Executive Development, that will offer up to $100,000 for investment in selected micro-enterprises with significant growth potential. Again, this is not something that we're going to hand out, or they're going to hand out, since we really don't have much in the way to do with administration. If they're going to hand out for free for you to start a business, they will share in the profits of the business. It has to be something that they would be willing to invest in. But the operator has to be willing to look at this and say, this is really a good business decision for me to go ahead and invest in this. So I think I've come under my 10 minutes. I'll just stop here, and I want to thank Macedonia 2025 for offering me the opportunity. And like I say, I'll be around afterwards.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And next we have Mr. Andy Pakoff. And Andy, I saw this somewhere, and I read it, and it says Andy Pakoff Postadio. I don't know about you, but I don't see this guy as stop. He has so much energy. He was up till 2:30 in the morning. He was going through town like a 21-year-old. So Andy, you're a great role model for us.
Yeah, I am 21. I just happen to look like 74. Okay, let's talk business. Americans use their own money to open a business. They don't look for foreign investment and rarely get government help. When they succeed, they hire more people. We started Niagara Bottling from scratch with $6,000 of savings. My father was my mentor and confidant. Today, we have 1,800 employees. From my perspective, there are many opportunities in the Republic of Macedonia for businesses to start from scratch and for existing businesses to grow much larger. A major hurdle to overcome is to change mindsets from the socialist way to run a business to the free enterprise way. Macedonia has an opportunity window to break through this barrier ahead of its neighbors and thus become the economic leader of the Balkans. Time is of the essence. An important mindset is to believe in yourself. You must work hard and long enough to overcome all business problems. Do not waste time looking for outside help. The Macedonia University system has many bright students. Use the power of interns to analyze market research, product development, cost control, space utilization, anything your company can benefit from. This cost-effective method will help any business and will also help the students. Incentivize young Macedonian entrepreneurs to benefit them, the economy, and the tax base. Examples from my perspective. Nuclear electricity to make Macedonia electrical energy independent and lower power costs. Buy the best system from the world leaders, USA, Germany, or France. And of course, a question is adequate cooling available for this? Bottled water. Happen to know a little bit about that. Macedonia has high quality groundwater. The marketing area population justifies a modern bottling facility. We built Niagara Bottling from scratch to a $1 billion company and are happy to share our work ethic, savings ethic, sacrifices, innovations, and team building with Macedonian entrepreneurs. This is an opportunity waiting to happen. Wine. Train the best Macedonian enology students in California and Australia to make world-class wines. Incentivize them to start their own businesses, wineries in Macedonia. Grant or free rent, say for 30 years, 80 acres of land, if planted as vineyards. 80 acres makes 30,000 cases of wine. Expand the sales of Macedonian wines to the entire Eurozone. The Macedonian wine industry imports empty bottles. Bottles are made better quality and lower cost with new bottle making equipment. Hire interns, research the size of the empty wine bottle market in Macedonia and in the neighboring Balkan countries. Research new machinery for both glass and PET plastic bottles, including the efficiency advantages in utilities, labor, and repair and maintenance. Bottle lightweight options. New technology makes lighter bottles. Analyze the all-in cost of various commissioned bottling operations. Develop scenarios of capturing various percentages of empty bottle market share. Consider PET, plastic, wine bottles as a competitive game changer. Agricultural products. Hire interns. Analyze production export scenarios of Macedonian agricultural products to the Eurozone and USA, including the big guys, Costco, Carrefour, and other quality-motivated large users. Dairy products, feta cheese, yogurt. Rack of lamb, lamb burgers. We have great lamb. We have better lamb than most parts of the world, yet our fields are empty. Kalamata olives, olives and olive oil. You can get 1 to 9 tons of olives per acre. Produce bottled peppers. We have great peppers. Ivar, tomatoes, other things. We have great quality products in these areas, but we don't make any money off them. Okay, another area. Complete remodel, a demo, whatever it takes to bring the Skopje Mall to world-class status. This will dramatically increase sales revenue of the mall and Macedonian pride. Foot traffic will increase, both locals and tourists, which strengthens overall economy. More profits for entrepreneurs, more tax revenues for the Republic, world-class hotels. Skopje sure could use about 3 more of those. How about 2 more hotels in Ohrid, world-class hotels? Ask interns to analyze what more needs to be done to make Skopje and Ohrid world-class destinations. I'm done.
Thank you, Andy. Next, we have Slavica Wade, PhD. She is the CEO of PEC International from the UK. Slavica, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Најпрво би сакала да ги поздравам сите овдека учесници, организатори и гости и да ви честитам на одличната организација. Јас сум присуствувала на многу вакви конференции, меѓутоа ова можам да кажам дека е една од world class. Ќе продолжам на енглески, бидејќи мислам повеќето ќе разберат на енглески. Јас сум Slavica Wade, родена сум во Македонија, во Скопје.
English or Macedonian?
Well, of course. Меѓутоа, 2/3 од својот живот веќе го живеам во Лондон и покрај тоа што повеќето од животот ми е надвор од Македонија, јас сепак се осеќам повеќе македонка него било што друго. Да. Well, if you prefer, I can continue in that. Okay, very good. Ја напуштив Македонија, како што реков, прилично одамна, пак на македонски, ja? Yeah. I left Macedonia a long time ago with the help of British Council. I attended 1-year contract, which was organized for me, and after the 1-year contract, I was lucky enough to get a job with the Confederation of British Industry in London, which is non-government organization, but as you know, is very influential organization, which the government never make any decision without consulting with CBI. And I was working in Eastern European Department as the main coordinator on the major government investments and loans which were given by the British government to Eastern Europe. So that gave me the first feel of business and contacts with various governments. various organizations, and where I was working on capital projects and capital investments. Later on, I worked for Morgan Group of companies, and I end up with PEC, which one is Petrochemical and Engineering Consulting Company, which one is involved mainly and only practically with oil, gas, and energy sector. I've been working practically on every single refinery and pipeline which one is in the territory of former Yugoslavia, also in the chemical sector. And lately we are working on something completely new in cooperation with British Petroleum and University of London. We develop new equipment which one is waste to energy. That just been launched, and I think we will start promoting that kind of product very soon. Very possible that we may consider the free zone as an area for production. We sold a lot of equipment for the refineries and the pipelines, of course, with the larger values from 100 million onwards. But that wasn't enough for me, because I didn't like only to sell to my country. I wanted also to give something to my country. So each time I had opportunity, I was trying to subcontract, and therefore we were given certain projects to some of the companies in the territories to produce some of the parts for our equipment. We also help Macedonia with some export. We help a company, some of the companies which do not exist today, but we opened the market for alumina to export in United Kingdom. They never had export previously. We sold a lot of their profiles and some other products. Now, lately, very recently, we decided to try to promote Macedonia, especially to promote the free zone in Macedonia. Victor Mizo is a very capable person, and I heard him on one of the presentations. I like his material. I like the way he presented. He sold the whole concept to myself and my colleagues, and that is exactly what we did. We tried to sell it to some of our companies. We contacted one of the major American corporations. Within 5 days from telling them about Macedonia, they were on the plane, and big delegation with their president came to visit Bunarjik and to see the facilities. The immediate reaction was that this is first-class facilities. They were extremely impressed. They were impressed with ability of their staff. They were impressed with knowledge of their director. This project is still under negotiations and evaluation. And we do have two other projects, two other companies which we're trying to bring into this market. Now, in addition to that, we are working with two smaller companies, which are IT companies. They are at the moment producing programs for some of our computer programs for some of our projects, and I must say that they are doing extremely very, very, very good job, and for very low amount of money we are saving. So I think both parties are gaining from this kind of cooperation. I would like to say something about this free zone when I mentioned the free zone. Not only that we were very impressed with that, but the overseas companies which are interested to come to Macedonia, they are now attracted from the fact that Macedonia is not a member of EU. They're saying that this is advantage because the two companies we're talking about, they do have production in Slovakia, they have production in Romania, and they have production in Hungary, but they said they became not so competitive, and they would like to move their operations into Macedonia. So I think that is something that, by not being member of EU, is plus. I would like another thing to mention about this, how to promote Macedonia in the Western world. Macedonian government is doing exceptionally good job in preparing material, preparing data, preparing information. The documentation which they are circulating are very well presented, and I think it is very attractive proposition. But my comment is that I attended 3 or 4 of those conferences overseas. The type of people who are invited to those conferences are not exactly the people which we would like to see to those conferences. Some of the people, sometimes the room can be full of people, but they are either coming for free lunch, or they're just interested what they're going to hear, or most of the time people who are coming from the local Chamber of Commerce who want to sell something to Macedonia rather than invest in Macedonia. Because I live in the UK, I can only talk about United Kingdom. If that was me who is preparing this kind of presentation, I will be calling someone like Institute of Directors, who is going, they have about 400,000 directors on their list. I will be calling CBI, Confederation of British Industry, and try to ask them to prepare a list of people who may be interested in Macedonia, rather than leaving it to the local Chamber of Commerce and the embassy to select some people. So I don't think, I think a little bit more work on selecting who is going to attend to meetings, it is important. I would like to, diaspora is very important, and I've been involved in promoting Macedonia via the diaspora, not only as a business person, but also as someone who loves Macedonia, and I've been lobbying all my life for Macedonia in every possible way, in promoting Macedonia as a state, promoting the language, promoting the culture, promoting everything. If you want, I have very small presentation to give you a very brief list of some of the historic work that we have done as a member of the diaspora in the United Kingdom. I also have to mention that the diaspora in the UK is extremely small. Until 10 years ago, there were barely 500 people, and maybe now we have 5,000 people. The number is very speculative, but I do not believe that there are more than that. But the type of people who live in the UK are mainly of very, very well-educated, highly educated people who understand the problems that our country is faced with, that they have similar opinion and similar intention of how to work together. And I think...
Can we take that data and actually pass it along instead of, for the sake of
well,
time?
if someone wants, it's
We will do that.
It's a list of what has been done for in those few days.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
You can post it on the website too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, I would like to say a few more words about being present at this conference. Of course, I can hear very impressive speeches. I can see new companies which are investing in Macedonia. They're all talking with compliments. They're all very happy. They're all expecting sustainable business in Macedonia, and that is the magic word. We all want sustainable business. But to my opinion, and what I'm seeing, that the government is interested in the large investments, and nothing wrong with that. That is very good in large investments, and the government is doing a good job in doing so. But I don't think we should ignore the smaller investors. People who are coming from the United Kingdom, they're really investing their own money, and therefore they're with more limited resources, and they're starting with a smaller investment. I know a number of people who, one person who is a friend of mine, he's in the process of opening geriatric hospital for, I don't know, up to 1,000 people. He will employ something like 60, 70 people. I don't think that should be ignored. I think that is a good project. I know 2 other people who open in a hotel. Maybe they will employ 20, 30 people. But again, and if we have 10 or 20 projects of that kind per year from each small country, I still think that is a very good speed that we are working with.
Thank you, Slavica. I think we're being cut off.
I knew that I would be cut off because you told me right in the beginning. That's why I'm sitting at the end.
Really? The show must go on.
Okay, I must stop. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll open it up for questions. Any questions in the audience?
I have a question.
Yes, Robert.
Well, it's a question for Slavica. So I have a question for Slavica. So, Slavica, I mean, you obviously, I come from the diaspora as well, so there's obviously a little bit of a misconception of types of people. I feel like always there's a misconception of type of people we have outside of Macedonia. How do you think yourself, just kind of the type of people, just talk a little bit about the type of the people we have outside of Macedonia who are potentially a resource to Macedonia, that you are exposed to, and their passion for Macedonia to come back and give something to Macedonia. What is it kind of just your perspective on it?
In London, we do have people of very good quality people, very well educated, who are interested in their country, who would like to do something in their country, who try to do something. Unfortunately, they are very disappointed with the response and the experience they are getting. They are disappointed with the response by dealing directly with the local authority, and they're also disappointed with the lack of support from the official representative offices in London.
Thank you. And one more question then for Andy. He's right next to you. Sorry, I'm taking everybody's time. Andy, I loved your practical approach to kind of self-help here, because that's your life philosophy, and I've had a personal pleasure to hear your life story as well. So tell me, just to summarize on what you said at the end, and connect to Slavica's thoughts here. Just if you think about percentage-wise, I know you said self-help, but percentage-wise, what do you think Macedonian diaspora can do versus what can be accomplished by the Macedonians themselves in this country? I just want to be clear on that point, if you were not clear already. Sorry.
Well, I'm a believer in doing it yourself, so I believe that most of it has to come from within. I think what the diaspora can do is offer the best things, in my viewpoint, is mentoring. Because people outside of Macedonia understand free enterprise. We know how it works. We can give excellent advice of how to make your business succeed. I think that's way important, more important than money. Money without the proper direction, you're going to lose the money. And I also think the Macedonian entrepreneurs need to have skin in the game.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, my name is Kire Stanovsky Skoglund, and I agree totally with Andy and Slavica. I mean, what we need in this country to just learn them, to think a little bit different, because I have the same experience. It's a little bit tough with the authorities here, and we have to learn from those two people. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? In the back? Well, let's go back over there first. I saw the hand go up first in the back. Oh well. Ladies first.
Thank you. Okay, my name is Valentina Taseva. I'm a manager of SEMOS Education, the biggest IT training and certification center in the region. So I can ask on Macedonian and then to repeat on English to Mr. Vasil. Моето прашање е дали сте размислиле да направите нешто конкретно, чекори кои што можат веднаш да се превземат, да се понудат македонските услуги, зборам за услуги на предпријатијата во диаспората и без разлика на бизнисите кои што ги имаат и селениците. Пример, IT обука е една од нив, од причина што ние сме дел од сите глобални системи на IT едукација, Microsoft, Oracle, Java и така натаму. Цените се македонски. Не има на сајт на сите вендори. Разлика 3 до 4 пати во однос на оние цени кои што може да се добијат надвор од Македонија. Тоа е една работа. Втора работа е, например, маркетинг агенциите. Сигурна сум дека има добри агенции кои што може да понудат многу интересни услуги. Бенефитите се 2-3 најмалку. Првиот е кеш веднаш. Вториот е да им овозможите економија на обем. Значи ќе имат многу поголем пазар. Третиот е ќе научат нешто преку менторство, како што спомна господинот Пејков, нели, учејќи во процесот на создавање, ќе бидат утре многу поконкурентни и ќе имат многу подобри референции од оние кои што ги имаат сега работејќи на македонскиот пазар. Че не треба ниту извоз, не треба ништо, треба само интернет врска, а ние имаме добра во државата. Now I'll try to repeat on English. Have you ever considered the option to offer to Macedonian businesses and outside of Macedonia services that can be provided by companies in Macedonia? The first one is IT education. As I have heard during these 2 days, low costs are, let's say, in sometimes #1 priority, and Macedonia is part of a lot of global networks in education. Microsoft, Oracle, Java. For example, Java prices, official education is €1,000. Outside of Macedonia, at least it is 4 times more or 3 times more. Nothing special is needed except the internet, and we have internet, and all education systems are part of global systems, so quality of the training can be easily measured, and it is very competitive. For example, there are 2 awards coming from outside of Macedonia. The first one is in ethical hacking, the best training in Macedonia. The second one was done by EBRD. So IT training is the first services. The second one that I can mention immediately are marketing and how to say, creative industries services, prints, design, anything. Like I said, in Macedonian, benefits can be multiple. The first one is immediate cash.
Can he answer the question? Let's just give him a chance. He could answer, and then we can move on. Thank you.
I just wanted to add why I started on Macedonian. I very much like the sentence that we appreciate.
Yeah, we understand. Thank you.
Вториот дел од прашањето беше да се обезбедат маркетинг агенциите да работат за бизнисите во собственост на македонци во средините кај што живеат иселениците, така?
Да.
Добро, значи во однос на првиот дел, токму затоа и ние организиравме таков бизнис форум, како што организиравме од 2008, токму затоа и оваа година правевме мини бизнис форум, кај што посебно на овој поголемиот форум, каде што ги повикавме не само бизнисмените, собственици на бизниси македонски иселеници, туку ги повикавме и бизнисмените од овде од Македонија со цел да можат да разменат меѓу себе искуства, да разменат адреси, контакти. Исто е овој бизнис форум поддржан од Агенцијата за иселеништво е еден начин како да се воспостави комуникација помеѓу информатичарите или седно компаниите во сферата и на маркетингот и во информатиката, а секако планираме посебно во сферата на информатиката да одржиме посебен мини бизнис форум наменет за информатичари и луѓе во информатичката технологија инволвирани. На тој начин ќе се прошири диапазонот, да кажеме, кругот на луѓе кои се инволвирани во оваа област. Ќе се поврзат македонските информатичари со информатичарите во земјите во кои што живеат македонските иселеници. Што се однесува до тоа да вие ги понудите вашите услуги, кажав јас, нашите податоци стојат на располагање по однос на сите бизниси на македонски иселеници во светот. Слободно можете да им се обратите, да им понудите ваши услуги, исто како што нудите на други субјекти овде во Македонија, како што нудите впрочем и на државните органи. Јас сум добил од вас понуди, иако не сме барале нели конкретна понуда, но сме добивале понуди. Значи можете да настапите на исти начин. Ако имате контакти, имате адреси, нашата улога е пред се да ги идентификуваме тие лица, тие кои имаат собствени бизниси и понатаму да овозможиме да се поврзат со бизнисите во Македонија. Но нашите ресурси се ограничени.
Прашањето е одговорено, фала. Имаме уште едно прашање и ќе одиме на closing remarks. On the back.
Thank you. Dear all, my name is Dimitar Muratsaliev. I'm a third-generation Swiss Macedonian currently living and working in Luxembourg as an attorney.
What is your question, sir?
Okay, it comes. You, Mr. Kutanovsky, you started the panel by pointing out that you learned actually to swim next to Ohrid with your grandfather jumping you into the water and telling you, swim. You then said, basically, you did the same with the business career. You jumped into the business career and you started and you learned by doing. Here's my question to all of you, Macedonians Macedonians, successful Macedonians in Macedonia and outside Macedonia. Wouldn't it be possible for us, young Macedonians, to use your mistakes as our strength? My proposition, because I like to be on the ground, people talk a lot, but they don't offer proposition, and I'm doing it right now. Wouldn't you mind sharing a little bit of your time with us? An hour, every 2 months, every 3 months, every 4 months.
219-789-0590. You call me at any time. I don't care if it's 2 in the morning, I'll pick up your phone, okay?
Will do.
All right. Press on. Thank you. All right, we have one more gentleman over here. I think he's from Rochester, Michigan. Yes.
My question is very brief. Have you tried, I know the diaspora is successful.
I can't hear you. Speak into the mic.
Okay. Mitre, I know you're into finance and business, and I know the diaspora is very successful, but many of them don't have the available time to drop what they're doing and get involved in businesses here, but they do have money. Have you tried to open up an investment fund where these people can put their resources, their money, and get some returns?
We did this morning. You must have been out of the room.
Maybe.
So,
sorry.
Go on our website. You'll get all the information. So thank you very much. Now I'm going to go to our closing remarks.
thank you all for being here with us, not only today, but also yesterday. It was a beautiful weekend, and I think we had fantastic panels. I do have two remarks before I turn it over to Zoran. Regarding helping entrepreneurs, Macedonia 2025 is actually beginning webinars. We haven't finalized exactly all of them, but we will have webinars to help young entrepreneurs like yourself. And as Mitra said, regarding the investment fund, we'll have some more information on that soon too. At this time, I would like to invite Zoran Martinovski to the stage.
So, we are almost done, and it's a real pleasure to be able to actually, to sit and be part of the closing panel. Typically, conferences, at least, in our country, they normally, the last panel is not as filled out as it is today, which is another sign of what was happening over the last couple of days here. I just want to share with you a little bit of an insight what was happening over the last 6-7 months. While Robert, he's going to summarize what happened here, and Mike's going to give, and Vince's going to give their views on the event. It was early December last year, and we had a board meeting that Robert hosted in New York, and we were brainstorming about what to do tangible, something concrete. And I came up with an idea. Let's have a conference. Let's have a summit. And I got some interesting, I would say, comments like, okay, why shall we do it? How can we do it? Do we have the resources? And finally, Mike said, well, okay, do it. And and then I had to do it. I had no resources. I've attended so many conferences in my life, but I was never in the part of the organization. Well, I was, but not. I was never in a position, to do something without almost, no resources. And I came back and I said, okay, what can we do? And I went to my dear friend, to Živko. I said, Živko, shall we do it? And he said, yes, of course. And then Mincho told me the same thing. And that's how we started. Then we said, I'm going to introduce some people that you've met, but probably you're not aware that they were part of what was going on here. So I've sat with the organizational team, and we brainstormed about the agenda. What shall we talk about, right? And we put a draft agenda, and Robert reviewed it, and he said, makes sense. And then we came to the point of execution. And again, before I tell you, how we executed this conference, I would like to introduce you the whole team that was behind the organization. So first of all, I would like to invite Biljana and Andrijana. So actually, this is the team. And they asked me, well, are you serious? And then, they mobilized a group of people, and we have a very nice, I would say, group of young and talented people that were helping us, the volunteers. Volunteers, come over. Come over. And then Živko said, Zoran, are you serious? Do you need my help? And then, thanks to Živko and his wife Emilia, and thanks to our friend Zikov, who's not here, from Capital, basically we put together a very, I would say, successful media campaign. So, Živko, can I ask you also to join us here? Guys. All right. So actually, finally we decided on the agenda and we decided who's going to be participating. We made a final list of panelists, and I think from the feedback that I was getting, over the last couple of days, I think they were not that bad. What do you think? So my special thanks to all the panelists. And before I give the mic to Robert, I also wanted to say one thing. Many people came to me and said, "Look, Zoran, this is probably one of the best conferences that was ever organized in Macedonia." But then, and which was a great, I would say, great accomplishment for all of us, I believe. But then some people who were here with us in the audience, they told me, "Well, you know what? This is up to any international standard and beyond that." So thank you, all of you guys, for making it happen. I received lots of emails and messages, but I'm gonna quote one from our cleaning lady Tetka Zore from the office. She said, "Zoran, we are so proud of you." Tetka Zore, thank you very much. Robert.
Well, thank you again, everybody, for making this a great event. I was going to have actually a little bit of a script, but I'm going to go off script, which is always dangerous in the last minute to change, go off script here. But, well, I'm a tall man. I'll stand up. You're taller than me, so it's okay. What I'll say is two things. I think it's not almost about the summit itself. It's about what we accomplished by the summit. I think we had two very productive days, but I think the discussion was I felt the discussion was very engaging. I think we felt it was almost like a working environment, which I felt what we were trying to accomplish. We're trying to accomplish an open dialogue. We tried to accomplish an environment where people can share their personal feelings, opinions, unscripted, uncensored, and I hope you feel like we accomplished that. It's one of these things where we are a non-profit organization. Zoran mentioned the extent of our resources that went into setting up this event, but we are a resourceful bunch, and I think if this is a motivation for you, it's with very few resources we can accomplish a lot. It's a really nice message for you to take home with yourself, because there's always, and I love some of the questions that Samuel Hash yesterday, or some guidance he gave us yesterday, some of the things that Andy just said in the last panel, which is, some of it is self-help, some of it is just being resourceful, being focused, being specialized, following through on your dreams and just pursuing those. But I think one thing, I love the last question that was asked by probably a young gentleman in the back, and it gets me emotional, because one of the things about this forum is, the idea of the forum is to share the knowledge. We have lots of knowledge within our community internationally, and I think the point is we got to create a network and organization through which we can facilitate transfer of knowledge, okay? And I think it's generational, and I think we need to cultivate this, and we need to actually build upon it. It's kind of easy to start always from zero and say, you know what, but we have lots of knowledge within the community, and I think some of the knowledge is here on this sitting around me here, and I think I can tell you something. I think it's something that maybe the Macedonians who are in attendance here get an inspiration about what we can accomplish is, the testament is what some of these Macedonians have accomplished on global level, competing against anybody on the planet, accomplishing a lot. So, and being one of the best managers, businessmen, leaders, transformational leaders, inspiring leaders. And so we have that in our community, and I think we just have to take that and really drive that home. So as far as my perspective of the summit, my own opinion of it, I think it's a success as a first summit. Obviously, we'll step back as an organization. We'll look at what was discussed, how the feedback, your feedback is. I think I would encourage you to actually submit your surveys. we actually had to offer those up. I think we will really seriously take and review your feedback because we want to make this a better event every year. Somebody said, I can't remember, Sammy said, Sammy, I'm quoting again, or it was Mike's quote, he said, it's not good enough to be just a good man. You want to be a better man, right? So we want to be a better organization. Okay, that's Sammy. Okay, so it's we don't want to be just a good organization. We want to be a better organization every year. So what I promise you from our at least organization standpoint, we're going to make this a better event every year. Okay. I feel like there was a group of topics that we covered here. There was a palette of topics that I think going forward we'll try to. Even though there was the first summit is always a difficult one because there's a lot of unfamiliarity. I think that purpose was accomplished here, which I think that lots of new information was disclosed. But I think hopefully by next year we actually start talking about real, we start, taking the level of communication level down and start digging in, maybe by vertical, by horizontal, and figuring out how we can be even more helpful to businesses within Macedonia. Okay. So with that, again, I want to thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for attending. Thank you for taking your personal time. I'll end this on one more note, okay? Because we are a nonprofit organization, and now we actually open for new membership and donations from anyone. This is not just for the senior board members you see sitting around here. Anybody can become a member. And to the young gentleman's question at the back about how can we get this knowledge, become a part of this organization. Because I think we're actually here to help you. We are here for you. We're going to do webinars. We want to transfer our knowledge to you so you can be successful going forward. At the same time, I think we need people to stand behind the mission of our organization because I think together we can accomplish a lot more. So please go to our website. Please stay in tune. Share your email addresses because we want to reach out to you. We want to reach out to you, and we want to actually stay in touch, and we want to follow up. So again, thanks everybody for attending this conference.
It happens in the period which is, how to say, very interesting, not boring at all, for many of us. First, I would say this happens, this summit organized by Macedonia 25, part of our activities to make a bridge with our diaspora is happening in the period when the world crisis is showing in many companies the essential mistakes or wrong policy they were applying. The second, which I would like to notice about our activities, the time when in Macedonia, in the previous period of few years, we create one basic economical network which is very supporting not only foreign investment, generally supporting the activities of the business society, small, medium, big enterprises. So during this, in this frame of situation in the world and in Macedonia, this summit show for me two very important things which should be done, and the bridge which Macedonia 2025 is doing will support and facilitate. That is that we expect that with our diaspora we could open one process of the stronger, faster, essential transfer of education, knowledge and new technologies which are necessary in Macedonia because of this general situation as I mentioned. And second, which is very important, we have practical, very successful small and medium enterprises, as well a big company on both sides in Macedonia and in the diaspora field, which could really support this process of doing that essential transfer of education, knowledge, and transfer of technology to be, to identify from which entity will start this process. And there is an entity in Macedonia we could support and accept this transfer of technology and knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you, Zoran. Great leadership. Robert, great comments. Mincha, great comments. And Zhivko, I thought your panel, all the panels were fantastic, but the panel you had with the Macedonian entrepreneurs or people outside Macedonia but being Macedonian, showing what success is possible, certainly gave me a great level of optimism for the future. I did use my Discovering Opportunities booklet, which all of you had, so did put it to good use to take some notes. First of all, I thought this was a fantastic conference. I've been to many of them. Maybe it's too generous to say the best ever, but went beyond the best expectations, and the feedback I've heard from everybody was overwhelmingly positive. So thanks for all the people involved in the conference, the panelists, and the people attending here. There are many volunteers, people asking to get more involved in the organization, asking how to help. In the process, we raised the expectations, and frankly, I would have it no other way. I love when expectations are raised on me. Organizations that belong to, but what I heard from many of you, you're raising expectations on yourself as plan next steps. So again, I'm very excited with the whole, if you will, the circle of comments that raised expectations, all with a positive view of helping the country that we love, and for most of us, the country of our birth. We said up front we have 3 objectives. Number 1, increased diaspora engagement. Second, to advocate and to champion Macedonia as a desirable, attractive investment for foreign investment. And third, to help or to champion local companies to become even more competitive. So just a couple comments on each one of those 3 items. The diaspora engagement, again, overwhelming request to make this an annual event. I mean, I'll make a commitment to have at least one more. The key, as I indicated in my opening talk, is what we do in between the sessions. So hopefully all of us will be successful following through, raising the game, and to make this as a very natural annual event, and for this to become permanent. But I think based on everything which we've seen so far, certainly we'll have at least one more. We will be issuing a report probably over the next couple of weeks, summary of the key findings, key next steps, which will be posted on our website. And if you're interested in joining the organization, different levels, as Robert had indicated, obviously we would love to have increased amount of participation. Second comment, the support and to champion Macedonia as a best place to be attracting foreign investment. At minimum, I think there's a significant increase in understanding by all of us of what's possible and what actually exists today. I thought we had 2 great panels, both by the government, describing the available opportunities and the incentives. And I thought equally compelling were the testimonials from 7 existing investors. And the best news there is that all of them actually are making commitments for a second or even third round of investment. So one takeaway from this, I think there's a chance to improve the coordination between Macedonia 2025 and Vele, Victor, Misar, the rest of the promoters. There's going to be a very interesting activity coming up in Detroit with the auto companies. I think there's going to be a great chance for us to coordinate and really to elevate the level of coordination and successes. I do think that one of the comments that was made, are we targeting the right people to come to those sessions? I think some of those things have been realized. We need to even to get to the next level of prospecting to make sure that great talks are given to decision makers or people that actually will have interest coming to the country. So again, I thought there was an excellent panel. Hopefully all people that came from whether Sweden or other places, you have a better understanding of what's available. And then for virtually all, mid-size and large investments in particular, there should be one-stop shopping. The next one, and again, you hate to choose between, it's almost like choosing between your 3 sons, who is your favorite. I never do that, but here I will go on the limb to say that the panel on the entrepreneurs was by far the most encouraging. Andy, was unfortunate that you were not able to make that one. But I really think the description of the entrepreneurs was virtually listening to Andy Peikoff 4 years ago. I'll make some of the notes I took. So there's significant ways for us to move forward to make it a standard operating procedure for every company. But we heard 6 wonderful examples, and I do not want to underestimate the importance of foreign investment. I'll make another comment. Every country that's successful is a good balance of attracting foreign investment. What is much, much, much more important is to have healthy, growing local companies. And what I heard, again, was what are those FX3X? And I knew a little bit, but did not realize this gem of an innovation on a world-class basis to the exports, to what Alcor is doing with Vera, taking the products and making them world-class, what Emil is doing with his company, and maybe we can take a personal commitment here. I mean, if we have a fellow, a 29-year-old entrepreneur, there's a nice problem that's, Mr. Pavlovsky, there's a nice problem. We have way too much business, and all he needs is some great people to help him fulfill all his customer requirements. He's been here for 15 months. He has 50 employees. They pay better on average, great working environment. And he's looking at elsewhere now because there's not enough people that at least he has met so far. They're prepared to sign up and take those well-paying jobs in a very friendly environment where you have pinball machines and games. But that's my takeaway. You can look at the glass being half empty to see all the things which we do not have, we're not being helped. We can look at other entrepreneurs who are taking the same environment and using quotes like, let's see, may I have it. It's never been a better time to start a business in Macedonia, and this is the land of opportunity. So this is not Americans coming over and looking down on the local people, but this is, again, local entrepreneurs that are successful. They're excited what they're doing. In India, because some of the comments, they were made. First of all, Todor Delovsky made a comment yesterday that all you need in business is to have courage. And I would argue that's the most important element, but you need more. And here's the notes which I took for myself from these great entrepreneurs. You need to have passion. You have to have competence. I mean, passion, courage, but also to be the best in what you do. You've earned the right to grow. So if you expand, make sure you're successful, move on to something else. Use quality standards above expectations. I mean, there was the alkaloid in the Vera story. I mean, they're using pharmaceutical standards to drive production of tea. And they're able to get premium, they're able to get revenues. Never stop learning. And again, this is a person that's been nominated for Oscars. And he reminds himself that, he better never stop learning. That's why he's going from 0 to 150 employees. And he believes he's going to be able to double that business. Always make your commitments. And if you're a business person, if you're late for meetings, if you say, well, I tried my best, but I couldn't do it, I mean, very rarely you'll get a second or a third chance. So again, this is local people driving success right here. And I do look success as a snowball. And hopefully those meetings provide lots of teachings, lots of coaching, but also there's no better foundation for success but to see someone else accomplishing something, that person sharing his or her thoughts, or for that to become the genesis for a snowball, is going to be driving successes on an ongoing basis. Hardworking. 3 of the 6 people made that comment, same as you, Andy. If you're an entrepreneur, no substitute for hard work. I mean, 16, 18, 20, 22 hours a day. I mean, you can be a government official, you can have maybe a cozy job for a large company. I'm not sure how many of those still exist. But if you're an entrepreneur, there's no more enjoyable, but also more demanding job. And every entrepreneur I know, I've been in 95 countries personally. I've never seen any lazy entrepreneurs. Any successful entrepreneurs, they were lazy. I agree with the comment to be silly, particularly among friends or Macedonians, to allow others to make the same mistakes. So this is not meant to be, should not be coaching, should not be networking. At the same time, to have a good combination of self-initiative, plan for success, do your homework, know whom you can ask for success, then driving your heart does, in most cases, produce success. So those are the comments. Again, I want to thank all the people involved in this success. In addition to 2 employees, and really we have 10 board members. And most of us work on 50, 60, 80, 100 hours a week, as it is in our day jobs. We pay for the expenses for Macedonia 2025. Even more valuable, we put a bunch of our time, and we love it. I mean, we think it's going to have a good return on investment. We think the we think those returns will be significant going forward. And I'm just so honored to be with only 10 of us on the board right now. I mean, great Macedonians, and this is I mentioned Robert Arsov, the efforts he's put in the last 12 months to drive the organization, second to none. My friend Mitchell Kutanovsky, number 3 in the organization, brings the common sense, but also very much of a uncompromising leadership and high expectations. Emil Christov, our youngest guy, actually has been on the board now for 3 years. He joined the board as a 23-year-old. Zoran Martinovsky. I mean, for a while he was the only Macedonian on the board. And the last 4 people, and obviously you've seen what he's been able to accomplish. And then the last 4 people we've added. We're not aiming simply for CEOs, but I think it worked out that way. And the whole concept of execution and higher expectation doubled just in the year where we really want to make sure that 2012 was the year for MK 2025 to get to a new level. So what Mitchell Yordanov and Zhivko Mukhaetov have done, not only for this conference, but elevating the expectations and also bringing the Macedonian sensibility, so there's not only quote-unquote foreigners teaching others, but to say how do we take what we know to drive the common cause. And Andrei Peikov, the 21-year-old mindset in a slightly older body, and what Vera been bringing to the organization have been fantastic. And again, I said I'm so proud to be in the same organizations with those 8 individuals. And John Bitov Jr. and Alex Kormashov, we got him being here. I mean, unavoidable conflicts. And I do again thank my fellow directors for all they do for the organization. So that's it. I mean, let me ask you a question. When I spoke initially, I said I'm hoping that the return on your money and your time to come here would be worth it. Hopefully it was. And I think the platform is at a much higher level. I say a level when the expectations are very high. And we look forward to see all of you, if not before, sometimes next fall, someplace in Macedonia. Thank you very much. Let's go Macedonia. See you at the party tonight. This is like playing soccer here. 5 years to put it out.